Hey guys, this is Matt King again. Welcome to another video from my website, Play It Loud. In this one, I want to tell you how to really play like the man, Stevie Ray Vaughan. I've spent years learning his licks, reading interviews, learning every little tidbit that I can find about how his guitar style works and how he plays the blues. And I just want to set the record straight. I want to just give you a few quick little things. I hope this video won't take too much time. I've been having a knack for making really long videos and just talking non-stop, so let's just dive right into it. Alright, now I start with this because I found this article, you see the link below at Guitar World. It was a very short article, and Kirk Hammett gives you all these ways how to play like Stevie Ray Vaughan. It's part of the reason why I wanted to set the record straight and make this in the first place. Of course, Stevie used thick strings, I say freaking 13s. I mean, that's hella hard to play guitar on. And, Kirk's like, he just attacked the strings. He used rakes, and he just uses all his arm strength and all this blah, 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 and quarter note bends. I mean, ask yourself this question. Do you really feel confident that you can make your guitar playing sound like Stevie Ray Vaughan's with just that knowledge? No. Absolutely not. I mean, there's so much more than just buying the right strings, getting a Strat, getting a tube screamer, getting a Fender amp, and dressing up like Stevie Ray Vaughan in order to sound like him. I mean, every single guitar player's style is going to also come down to his note choice, and I believe that that's at least 90% of every guitar player's style. And I'm going to go through a couple of tabs here for you real quick. I'm going to show you a few little secrets that I've found that will help you start playing like Stevie Ray Vaughan today if you want to. But you'll have to have some good lead guitar technique. You'll have to have some good rhythm guitar technique, and you'll probably have to know a tiny bit about theory, but I'm going to try to break it down as easily as possible for you. And if you want to go check out that article, like I said, it's right there, and I'll be sure to put it in the YouTube video description as well. And again, the truth is that Kurt just doesn't have the time to tell what's really going on, and he, as well as everyone else, oversimplifies it. I mean, a lot of people think that, you're not a big boy and that you can't handle the truth about how to play like Stevie Ray Vaughan. But I really believe that if you want to learn, I mean, you'll learn. If I tell you a couple things that, you can start doing in your improvisations later, or grab one of Stevie Ray Vaughan's progressions and start playing over them, you can start sounding a lot like him. I mean, it's not that hard. It's just someone has to show you how to do it. And again, SRV and every player's style is a mixture of things. Like I said, a lot of it's note choice. But with Stevie Ray Vaughan in particular, I mean, surprise, surprise, it's minor pentatonic scales. It's blues shuffle rhythms. It's 1-4-1-5-4-1 progressions. That's a little bit of theory there, but that's one of the most basic chord progressions you'll ever run into. And the blues foundation is set upon that. And then double stops, of course. Double stops are where you play two notes at the same time, kind of like as a mini chord. Chuck Berry basically popularized that a lot, but it's used in all music. I mean, piano uses double stops, of course, and then violin players use it. I mean, the list goes on. And, all these things combined is what's ultimately going to make you sound like Stevie Ray Vaughan. But it's going to take you a little bit of time to implement each little thing. More than likely, you've already implemented minor pentatonic scales if you started playing lead guitar and learning Stevie's licks. I mean, that's basically a given. That's a foundation of rock guitar. But let's just go right into the other things. I got some tabs for you, like I said. Okay, this one I took, I think it was from the intro to Pride and Joy. I mean, everybody knows that. I mean, try to take a moment and see what the chord progression is doing. Notice it's B7 for one bar, and then to A7 for another bar, then to E for another bar, and then most of that bar goes into the next bar for B7, and then, yeah, that's B7, okay. Just making sure, because a lot of people make mistakes with their tabs. I just took this from Ultimate Guitar, took a screenshot, and just put it here in the little video that I'm making for you now. Okay, and as you can see, open strings, blues notes, triplets, 1-4-1-5-4-1 progressions, even though I mess up saying that sometimes. But let me just show you one thing at a time. Okay, open strings is a really, really big part of it. I mean, the blues started out with, all the guys in the Delta. I'm actually from Mississippi. I don't live far away from them. And all they had was an acoustic guitar, and they wanted a big sound. They wanted something to fill in the parts in between the chords and the singing. And as you can notice, look, when he's playing over B7 there, that he's playing the open G, then the open A. That's just all part of E minor pentatonic, of course, but he's using it pretty skillfully there. Yeah, because see how he's sliding into the 4th fret on the G string there? That's B right there. And if you know the notes of B7 and A7 and E and such, it'll all make a lot more sense to you. But he's just staying in open position. He's not going to the 12th fret. He's not going to the 7th fret, not doing anything crazy in a higher pitch. He's just kind of staying there. And that's a very, very fundamental part of playing the blues and playing like Stevie Ray Vaughan. But if you notice another thing there, he plays in a lot of triplets. That's that blues shuffle rhythm that I was telling you about. If you heard a lot of slide guitar players like Elmore James, that's triplets. 3. Very simple. But just making yourself play in triplets, it's not so easy. You can take this lick, you can take any licks. One of my other favorite guitar players, Marty Freeman, uses triplets a lot. Lots of players use triplets. It's a very fundamental rhythm to use in your lead guitar playing. But just notice here how he uses it, and go and listen to the song. Probably enjoy and hear how he does it. Okay, that's triplets. And real quick, just one last thing is like I said, I don't want this video to go too long. Yeah, blue notes. Blue notes. Okay, minor pentatonic scales. You know that, right? Okay, the blue note is, wait for it, it's just one more note you add to the minor pentatonic scale, and it's called the diminished fifth interval. And all that means is, think of a power chord shape. We'll just take A7 here. Well, it would be A5 if it was a power chord, but the diminished fifth of A7 is going to be E flat or D sharp. So notice fret 1 there on the D string where it goes 0, 1, 2, right there on the second measure above where it says A7. Okay, that fret 1 there, fret 1, that's the diminished fifth of A7. And if you try to hit that note as much as possible, throw it in kind of as a passing tone is what it's called, because you don't want to sit on that because it just doesn't sound good with A7. But as a passing tone, as a color note, or and some people call it a variety of things, it'll really liven it up. It'll give it some blues flavor because that's really about all you need for that. And there's actually a way you can use the same technique in country guitar. But that's for another video. I'll save that for another video sometime. Let me just see if there's anything else I can show you. Just try to use that same principle everywhere. Because like I said, the diminished fifth, that's just the note that's a half tone below the perfect fifth interval. So if you know your power chords, if you know that, say, E is the root note and then B is the perfect fifth of E there to make an E5, you just go to B flat or A sharp, that's the diminished fifth interval. And just use that as much as possible. It does take a little bit of thinking. Throwing all this together, triplets, blues shuffle rhythms, open strings, minor pentatonic scales, blues scales, it can be kind of overwhelming. So just take one thing at a time, learn licks like this, and and try your best to have fun. But if you want to get to the next level of guitar playing, a level that Stevie Ray Vaughan and a lot of other players are at, it would really help to start thinking like this. Because, you can argue all you want that they don't use music theory, but, the tabs don't lie. The sheet music, the recorded music doesn't lie. It's triplets, there's diminished fifths in there, there's the B7, A7, E. That just didn't all come up by itself. Argue all you want, but that's just how music works. And the more you know about how music works, the more you can start to sound like Stevie Ray Vaughan or who else. Okay, so let's move on to another example. Okay, I just want to show this real quick. More double stops. And hopefully you're listening to the video, like I said, because I didn't want to write it down or anything really what the secret is. But, double stops are just part of the chord. Check it out right there. B7. That's B and then G sharp. And that's more of an E there. Because he's not really he's not really choosing a note that corresponds to B7 there. But if he wanted to do that, he could just go down to the 7th fret and play, the F sharp on the B string, and then the D sharp on the G string. Hopefully I didn't lose you there, but if you just think the uh, the power chord shape, the bar chord shape at fret 7 to make the B, the big B major chord there, I mean, you got it. That's it. And I mean, I can go into a lot of theory here. I don't want to really throw too much at you, but you see the triplet rhythms in there. He starts out with a little open chord phrase, open position scale phrase there, and he just goes right into it. I mean, it doesn't have to be that complicated. None of this stuff has to be. I mean, you know, I throw out a lot of terms here, and that's just how I interpret everything. But if you just know that a double stop is just, you know, you put two notes together, and you know, you pick out a part of a chord shape, and you just play chord shapes over the other. You're playing double stops, and these notes all make up parts of chords. They make up parts of scales. They all fit into the harmony of the song, the chord progression of the song. And I mean, again, the more you know about how this all works, the more you can figure out how Stevie Ray Vaughan plays. And if you have any questions about double stops, just make a comment below this video on YouTube. I know it's harmony is not a very easy thing to learn. You know, guitar or theory or whatever, however you interpret that. So I'll be happy to give you some examples of double stops. Something else that maybe you could use over B7 or E7 or whatever. Just like I said, leave me a comment. I'll be happy to help out. Let's go to the next example. Hopefully this is the last one. Okay, melodic bends. Notice the interval jumps and the triplets. And I have a couple other videos where I go into intervals a lot. I have one about slash where I take a couple examples just like this, and I break down the interval jumps. But let's just go with the first couple of notes there. See the bend at the 14th fret into the 15th fret. You know, well, it's not a quarter note bend; it's a half bend. But then he uses some double stops there. Look at that. You know, on the 12th fret. That's double stops, plain and simple, right there. And he's just staying in the E minor pentatonic box shape because it also gives you a lot of the notes that are in A7 and B7 as well. That's another little tip there. The more you can just stay in one position, the better. That's why that box shape is so popular, because you can just get so many chord tones from those three shapes in the blues progression, in that blues shuffle progression, and you don't have to think you don't have to think very hard. But you know, we've gone over triplets a good bit. Let me see if I can point out some interval jumps. But yeah, again, that bend at the 14th fret going up to 12 there. You know, because when you hear that in the thing, it'll be a relatively in the recording. It'll be a relatively lower pitch at the 14th fret, and then it jumps up to the E on the 12th fret, the high E string there. And you know, try to look for a few more of those. I'm trying to see here. None of these are really big interval jumps per se. It's actually quite linear, is what we call it. But you know, the wider your intervals can be, the wider the distance between one note you play and the next note you play, that'll show up. That'll catch the ear of your listener a lot better, because that's what makes a lot of the most famous melodies, the most famous songs out there that you hear. Because I mean, like I said, it just catches the ear. Sorry, I mentioned this in a couple of other videos. I'm still kind of new to making YouTube videos and doing this for people, but hopefully you've gotten a lot from this. But if you want to learn more about intervals, go check out my slash guitar lesson. You can go to my channel, and it'll be listed in there, easy for you to find. And okay, I think that's everything. Yep. All right, well, let's just end it there. I appreciate you watching my video. If you could, please subscribe. I'm going to be making a whole lot more videos, and I'm going to be showing you links to some of my articles on there, because I am a writer. I feel a lot more comfortable writing this stuff out for you and showing you piece by piece how all these examples work. So subscribe to my channel if you have a moment. Check out my my website, and subscribe to my email list, and I'll let you know whenever I have something new. All right, thanks a lot for watching, and take it easy. Thanks.